Hello students, welcome to the second video of block structure of PLSQL. So in this video we'll be studying about the basics of writing a PLSQL program and their syntax. So to start with the block structure of PLSQL, so already whatever we have learned is the PLSQL is a block structure language, and it means that the whole program will be divided into logical blocks. So whatever the PLSQL program we write will be divided into separate logical blocks. So in how many sections can we write this PLSQL program? We can write this PLSQL program in three different sections. So number one is declarative section, and number two is executable section, and the third and the final one is exception handling section. Now what is declarative section? In declarative section, a PLSQL block starts with the keyword declare. So remember this thing very carefully. So we have to, if you want to declare a variable in PLSQL, you have to use the keyword declare. After we declare, and what can we declare in that? We can declare variables, constants, and any other whichever we are going to use in our executable section. So, and this section is what? Optional. This section is optional. Sometimes in our PLSQL program we need not declare a variable. If at all the user requires the variable, he can declare using the declare keyword, or else it is not necessary. And the second section is the executable section. So in the executable section, the PLSQL block starts with two keywords. It starts with begin and ends with end keyword. So remember, so whenever we start the executable section, we start with the keyword begin, and whenever we end the executable section, we end with the end keyword. So in between, whatever the variables we declare inside that particular block, we are using the declare keyword. And not only that, in this section, the program logic is written. So whatever the program logic that you want to implement in PLSQL must be written under the executable section. And this section is mandatory. Without creating the executable section, the PLSQL program cannot work. So declarative section, in declarative section, we use declare keyword in order to declare a variable, and in order to implement those in our program, we use the executable section. In executable section, we use two keywords. If the PLSQL block starts, we use the begin keyword, and if the PLSQL block ends, we use the end keyword. And the third and the final one is the exception handling section. In exception handling section, the PLSQL block starts with the keyword exception, and already we have known that exception means a runtime error. In order to catch hold of the runtime error, we use a keyword known as exception, and this particular block handles any error that is present in the program. And this section is optional. Without creating the exception handling section also, we can write a PLSQL program, but it is up to the user's convenience to use that exception handling section. And the syntax of writing a PLSQL program will be like starting with the begin keyword, and after that we have the declare variables. We have to use the declare keyword and declare the variables, and after that the executable statements. Whatever we want to execute will be executing in that executable statements. And third one is the exception handler. So in the beginning we'll not be seeing anything about the exception handler. We'll be working only about the declare and the executable statements. And at last, once if everything is done, you have to use the end keyword entered up with a semicolon. And the semicolon may change in our program because we'll be using a different delimiter. And we'll see a small program, so that automatically we'll come to understand why we are doing this PLSQL. Hello students, welcome to the MySQL command line client. And in this particular video, we are going to implement the PLSQL program. In our last slide, we have seen the various commands that can be used, and now it's the time to implement them. So as we already know, before in our database, whenever we are going to create a table or something, we have to select a database in MySQL. Similarly, in PLSQL programs also, if you want to start a PLSQL program, you have to select the database. So in order to select the database, first we need to know how many databases and what are the databases available. So in order to do that, there is a command known as show databases, which you already know. So I'm using the same command, show databases, and it shows that these many databases are there. I am going to use one of the database, use EMP. For instance, there is a database known as use EMP here. I'm going to use that particular database. Now my database has been changed. Now it is the time to create our first PLSQL program. And every PLSQL program must start with a particular keyword. That keyword is none other than delimiter. So soon I'll tell what is the meaning of this delimiter and why I'm providing this double dollar sign. Because if I tell now, you will not be able to understand it. So first I'll write a program, I'll execute it. Later I'll do some changes in the program, then we'll be able to come in to know the differences. Why I'm using a dollar sign or any other sign. Next, after typing this delimiter and double dollar sign, you have to use the keyword known as create procedure. I have to use a keyword known as create procedure, and I'm typing here in capitals. It's not necessary that you must also type in capitals. You can type in smaller alphabets also. But in order to show some differentiation between the keyword and the procedure name, so I'm using a capital letters here. So I'm going to create a procedure. Imagine my procedure name is addition. I can give any name. For example, in this particular program, I'm going to add two numbers. So in that case, I'm giving the procedure name as addition. So the next line what you have to do is, as we have already seen in the slides, first we have to use the keyword known as begin. Whenever you begin your PLSQL program, you have to keep the keyword known as begin. So I'm also giving the keyword known as begin. After giving the keyword begin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the keyword known as declare, and I'm going to declare a particular variable, and the variable name is a, and the data type is int. I can use any variable name. It doesn't mean that I have to use only a. I can use x, y, z, any variable name. So for instance, I'm declaring a variable known as a, and it belongs to integer type. And at the end, I have to provide a semicolon to indicate that that is the statement has been completed, terminated. After that, again I have to declare one more variable, that is declare b int. So I'm declaring one more variable known as b, and it also belongs to integer type, and declaring one more variable known as c for the output, and that also belongs to integer type. I hope so you don't have any doubts in this. Now afterwards, once if you declare all the three variables, now I have to assign the values for a and b. In order to assign the values to the variables a and b, I have to use the keyword known as set. Set a equals 10. So any number I can give. For instance, I'm giving the a value as 10. After that, I'm giving a semicolon. So similarly, I'm giving set b equals 20. So I'm declaring the a variable as 10 and b variable as 20. So I'm assigning two values to two different variables. So till now I declared three variables and I've assigned two values to a and b. Now next, the pending operation is I have to add these two things. So in order to add these two things, I'm using the keyword known as set. Set c equals a plus b. So I'm adding a and b together and putting in the variable known as c. After that, in order to print the value of c. Normally in our C language we use printf statement, and in C++ we use cout statement. Likewise in MySQL we can't use all those things. Instead we have to use the keyword known as select. Select, and the variable name is c, semicolon. So now the output will be displayed, and if I want to end the particular program, I have to use the keyword end. This also we have seen in the slide. End. After end, I have to give $2. Why? Because that is my delimiter over here. If you notice, I have given the delimiter as $, but not semicolon or some other thing. That's the reason I'm ending my program with the $. So what it indicates is when I put this $, my MySQL will check the delimiter operator. My delimiter operator which I gave here as $. So automatically my MySQL will understand that the program is coming to a conclusion. I have to end the program. So it comes out. If you give any other operator other than this $, then the program won't finish. Now I'm not going to show the various ways, but I'm going to just show you now if I use $, what will happen. Just I'm pressing enter. As soon as I press enter, you can see here query is okay and 0 rows are affected. So it means my query is successful. My PLSQL program is successful. Now in order to execute this, in order to run this, I have to use a keyword known as call. Call and my procedure name. My procedure name is addition. Addition. And within the parenthesis, after that I'm giving $, because that is my delimiter. Okay, delimiter says that my program came to a conclusion you can start executing it. That is the main meaning of delimiter which we are going to give. And as soon as we give this call addition and double dollar sign, when I press enter, you can see that output over there. See, the value is 30. Now, normally in our SQL programs, we don't have any operations like this. We used to normally only create the table, insert the records, delete the records. We used to do like that only. But for the first time in MySQL, we are going to use this PLSQL concept in order to implement the programming concepts inside, so that we can add, subtract, whatever the mathematical and logical operations, whatever you want to do, we can do with the help of PLSQL. So this is a simple program of PLSQL. Now I want to do some changes in this program. This program, whatever I wrote, is a basic program. Now I want to make some changes in this. Now as you can see here, the delimiter is double dollar sign. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the delimiter to semicolon. Now I've changed the delimiter to semicolon. Now I'm going to create one more procedure. I'm going to create one more procedure which is known as subtraction. And please do remember, in MySQL, after every statement you have to give semicolon. After every statement you have to give a semicolon. Okay. Now I've given my delimiter as semicolon, but earlier I gave my delimiter as dollar sign. Now you see the difference. So I created a procedure, and again I'm giving the command begin. After giving the command begin, I'm going to declare. This time I'm declaring the variable x, and it belongs to integer type. Now if you see here, after this x int, I have to give a semicolon, that is for sure. But my delimiter is also a semicolon. See, as soon as I press a semicolon, I get an error. Why I'm getting this error? Because my MySQL is getting confused. It can't differentiate between a delimiter and a normal semicolon. Since I gave the delimiter a semicolon, my program is coming to a conclusion, but still I have programs to write. That is the main reason we are giving this delimiter as dollar sign. I can give any other sign also. That doesn't matter. We have to give only dollar sign. We can give hash, any other symbols. But dollar sign is more prone in your textbook, so we are using the dollar sign. So understand one thing very carefully here. In PLSQL, after each and every statement, I have to give a semicolon. But if I give a delimiter as semicolon, and my program comes to a conclusion. So in order to avoid it, so I'm using the delimiter as double dollar sign. So my MySQL will now easily will differentiate. Okay, if I want to end the program, if I see a double dollar sign alone, I will end the program. If I see a semicolon, I will not end the program. I will continue the program. So it will come to a differentiation state. But here, if you see, delimiter is also semicolon, and here also we gave a semicolon. So my MySQL is getting a confusion and it is showing an error. Now if you see this delimiter, I'm changing it to hash symbol. I'm changing it to double hash. Okay. After changing it to double hash, again I'm going to create a procedure, the same procedure, subtraction. After that I'm giving the command begin. After giving the command begin, this time you see I'm giving declare x int. Now it doesn't issue any error. As you can notice, because we have changed the delimiter to hash, it is not semicolon anymore. So again, if I type declare, this time for a change, what I'll do is I'll use just one variable, set x equal to 20. So I declared only one variable and I'll set the variable as 20. Now I want to subtract. So in order to subtract, I'm using just x equal to x minus 30. X value is 20, x minus 30, and again I'm giving semicolon. And in order to display the output, I have to use the command select x. Once if I say use the select the variable x semicolon, now my program is coming to a conclusion. Now in this end, if I give dollar sign, it doesn't accept because my delimiter has changed. Last program I gave the delimiter as dollar sign, so I have used the dollar sign here. Since now I have given my delimiter as double hash, I have to give you the sign as double hash. Only then my program will come to a conclusion. Now if I press this, query OK, no errors in the program. In order to execute this again, I'm using the call keyword, and the procedure name is subtraction. Procedure name is subtraction, and within the parenthesis I'm giving this sorry, not dollar sign, hash. Be very careful. Whatever the delimiter you create, you have to give only that delimiter. You must not change the delimiter. Once if you press, you'll get the answer as minus 10. So from this we came to know that why we are using delimiter. Delimiters are mainly used in order to tell MySQL that the program has come to a conclusion and you can show the output. But must not use the delimiter as semicolon. If you use the delimiter as semicolon, MySQL will have a confusion in order to which is a statement semicolon and which is a program ending semicolon. They can't differentiate. So that is the reason we are giving some other symbol other than semicolon in delimiters. I hope so you understood this. Fine. In our next video, we'll be seeing about the fundamentals of PLSQL. I hope so you understood this, the concepts which are present in PLSQL in this particular program. So we'll meet in the next video. Thank you.